Hi, my name is Kat, and I will be reading my three things speech for my public speaking class. All right, let's get started. I'm going to be referencing my outline on my computer, so if you see me looking this way, that's why. My father's work ethic has influenced my own approach to my work. My father is the hardest working person I have ever met. He woke up at 4 a.m. every single day to drive 45 minutes to work just to get home at the earliest 6 p.m. and at the latest 9 p.m. Although he missed parent days, talent shows, and concerts for his work, he always found time for the things that he knew mattered. Even after a 12-hour day at work, he would still come home every night and read a chapter of my book with me because he knew how much being an ADHD kid and not getting taught a lot, he knew how much that meant to me to spend time to teach me. And as I've grown older, I've realized how much that has influenced my own behavior today, my father's work ethic. Most of my core memories of my dad are of him saying to me, try again, find another solution. You got this. You made a commitment. And I think that has transferred over to almost every single aspect of my life. Growing up with undiagnosed ADHD, I always internally considered myself to be stupid. From my experience with my classmates, I wasn't like them, which meant that there was something wrong with me. But no matter how stupid I thought I would always repeat in my head, would Dad have given up by now? I live by the mantra, if I can't be the smartest person in the room, at least I know I can be the hardest worker. And I think that was because of my dad's influence. There are 3 ways that my dad's influence on my work ethic has affected my life positively. Number 1 would be the obvious example, which would be the job that I currently hold now. And I was taught that no matter how big or small the job is, to give it 110%. Because I feel like work ethic is something that should transfer over to everything you do. It shouldn't be something that you give and take depending on how big or small the job may seem. And currently I'm a barista, and that is a hard job. You know, it's straining, it's physically straining, it's mentally straining, and it has a lot of components to it, but it also is a minimum wage job, and it's in food service. And so most people, like most of my coworkers, a lot of them are very approach it like, okay, if something happens, if, I'm not going to stay late, I'm not going to come early. And I just was not raised that way. And I think that is very apparent in the way that I work, and that's because of my dad. And another example of ways that he has influenced my work ethic by showing his own work ethic would be relationships. Growing up, I was taught that as one of my core values was to prioritize all of the relationships in my life, and that includes every single relationship, going from family, friends, God, and most importantly, the relationship with myself. But overall, I was also taught that all relationships require work, and you have to work hard to prioritize yourself. Because for me personally, it is easier for me to give other people 100% of my attention than to give myself 100% of my attention. And, my parents noticed that, and, they singled out how I can get better at that. And now I have a more rounded life, which I think is important, especially as I grow into young adulthood. And my third example would be school. As I said earlier, I grew up with ADHD, and I had to work very hard to be average. And I always say that to my therapist now, is that that's not an exaggeration. I would stay after school for hours and hours on end. I would go home and I would do hours and hours of homework up until my senior year of high school. And when I got medication for it, which helped a little bit, I would stay up until 2 a.m. doing homework just to get it back a week later and get a C. And, the first couple times that happened, I was like, well, what's the point? I was like, I keep doing this, I'm not getting anything out of it. And then I got my report card home, and on the little teacher notes, it goes, she's trying very hard, we can see that. And that, I showed it to my dad, and he didn't even look at the grades. He looked at the note that the teacher gave. He was like, good job. And, you know, that's something I want to carry over to when I have my own kids. And I think it's something that really shaped all of the 3 things that I named. And that all started from school and from how my dad presented himself and presented his work ethic. So yeah, those are my 3 things. Hope you liked it.